Welcome into Philadelphia 76ers now, no matter where you are or how you're tuned in. Greatly appreciate everybody for making today's show a part of your day. I'm your host, Chase Sr. A lot of interesting topics to talk about. We're going to get to Ben Simmons and the fact that the Brooklyn Nets, according to Shams Charania, very unhappy with his play so far. Who saw that coming? We've called him Big Baby Ben and fraudulent Ben Simmons. It's translated from Philadelphia up by 9-5 to now Brooklyn. So we'll get to him, but how about one of his teammates in Kevin Durant? So this is pretty crazy. Hold your seats. According to Heavy.com, the Sixers have checked in on Kevin Durant. They've done their due diligence about a Kevin Durant trade. But of course, if you want to bring in KD, that would involve including Philadelphia's son, Tyrese Maxey, in that trade. An NBA executive to Heavy.com saying this: there is no doubt the Sixers have asked on Kevin Durant. They did in the summer, and they will keep asking about him. But the Nets are going to be a little put off by them already because of the Ben Simmons thing, because they feel like they were set up to give away James Harden all along. So the Sixers burn them once. Do the Nets want to go back and say, okay, sure, we'll do a KD deal too? Now, the Sixers did fleece the Brooklyn Nets in the James Harden deal, because even though Harden was just okay throughout the playoffs for Philadelphia, he was better than Ben Simmons. Shoot, at least he played as compared to Ben Simmons. And when he was on the floor this year before suffering that injury that'll keep him out a month, he was playing pretty good basketball, looked to be in better shape, and had slimmed down a little bit. Ben Simmons, on the other hand, the other night earlier this week, he scored a season-high 11 points. He's a flake. He hasn't been good defensively. Luka Doncic put him in a windmill, and he didn't even know where he was going. James Harden has been the better player as compared to Ben Simmons, and because of that, the Sixers did fleece the Nets in that Harden deal. So that might scare them away from making a deal like this. More from that NBA executive. The main thing is, though, and we knew this was coming, right? Does Tyrese Maxey get put into the deal? Because then the Nets have to listen. They might not get a better young player than him in any deal they make for Kevin Durant. Maxey, Tobias Harris, and Matisse Thybulle would work, but the Nets would not get any picks in the deal because Philly can't offer that right now. Giving up Maxey in any trade out there would certainly give me pause. I have loved the development and the acceleration of Tyrese Maxey in terms of how fast he's been able to improve his game. Year one, exceeded expectations. Year two, he was a blossoming superstar. And this year, he's kind of turning into a star player who has serious consideration as to being named to the All-Star team. And he's also young. He's really affordable. And you can win playoff games with a player like Tyrese Maxey as a guy who can create something out of nothing. A guy who late in the game can put the ball on the floor. But can you win a championship with Tyrese Maxey? I'm not sure. Can you win it with Kevin Durant? You can. Now, I will tell you this as we continue to progress through this conversation because I have some more thoughts on it. If KD gets traded to the Sixers, we're going to have it covered. So make sure you subscribe right now and stay locked in with Sixers coverage all year round. We like to have these open-minded conversations and just talk hoops with the people. So if you're about that life, lock us in and subscribe right now. Going back to that point I just made, you can win a championship with Kevin Durant. And if you include Tyrese Maxey and the contract for Tobias Harris, as well as Matisse Thybulle in that deal for Brooklyn, then you can take on Kevin Durant's salary. He still has a couple of years remaining, but Kevin Durant is box office. Kevin Durant is a walking bucket. Kevin Durant is one of the more unique players that we've seen in the history of the NBA. And we're talking about a guy who is still one of the best elite offensive weapons in the National Basketball Association. And over the course of NBA history, he has one of the most unique offensive packages with everything in his toolbox that we have ever seen. And you could, in turn, by getting Kevin Durant, accelerate your opportunity to win an NBA championship alongside James Harden and alongside Joel Embiid. The fit and the 1-2 punch of Durant and Embiid would be incredibly scary. And it would allow you to at least have that blow softened of letting go of probably the best young and most dynamic player that the Sixers have had at that guard spot going all the way back to Allen Iverson. Now, I would hate to give up Tyrese Maxey, but what would you do? I would probably lean on not doing it. Kevin Durant, a little bit worried about his cultural fit. Does he have the leadership skills to carry you to an NBA title? And he is a little bit older, so who is he going to be in a couple of years? Certainly an interesting conversation, though. Would you give up Maxey in that deal? Why for yes and for no? We'll get to Ben Simmons around the corner, but first, do want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Established Titles. You can save an extra 10% off on the perfect holiday gift by using the code CHAT at establishedtitles.com/chat. What is Established Titles? A fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It's a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds, lords, and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. We plant trees with every order and work with global charities, One Tree Planted, and Trees for the Future to support those global reforestation efforts. You can officially include the title of Lord, Lady on your credit card, plane tickets, and dating profiles. And from now on, you see the name on the screen, Lord Chase Senior. I want you all to call me that. It makes for a great last-minute gift, and the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to our plot within a few minutes of walking distance. Depending on how many of you want to become a Lord or a Lady, we can build our own 76ers Now Kingdom. There's deals worth up to 80% off on the website. But if you use the code CHAT at establishedtitles.com/chat, you save an extra 10% off. So many times throughout the holiday season, you get somebody a gift, whether they're a significant other, friend, family member, and it's boring. It's mundane. It's the classic, oh, thanks, I'll probably never use this. How about a plot of land in Scotland? That's what Established Titles can hook up. And you support those reforestation efforts, and you have to support the climate as well. We'll put that link in the comment section and the description of this video. Now let's get to Ben Simmons. It's been a little while since we talked about Ben Simmons. Fraud alert. The Nets are reportedly growing tired of Ben Simmons' level of play as well as his lack of availability. Who saw this coming, that the Nets would be frustrated with what Ben Simmons is right now as a basketball player? That second-round series against the Atlanta Hawks completely broke Ben Simmons. We're talking about a guy who, prior to that, was one of the best defensive players in the NBA, a very skilled passer with elite and special vision considering his size at 6'10", and even though he's never been able to shoot the basketball, he was still nearly, night in and night out, about a triple-double threat. But ever since he passed up on that dunk, ever since he was a flameout against the Hawks in that second round, ever since he was allergic to making free throws at the line during that series, Ben Simmons, his stock has plummeted, just like Dogecoin right now on FTX, and he is no longer an asset in the NBA. Isn't it crazy to think that Ben Simmons, no longer a valuable asset in the NBA? I can get past the shooting concerns because his career in Philadelphia was pretty impressive. Couple of all-star appearances, second team all-defensive player. I thought he should have been defensive player of the year 2 years ago over Rudy Gobert because he guards every single position and is more valuable in that regard as compared to Gobert. And his stats in Philly, 16 points per game, 7 rebounds, 7 dimes, a steal and a half, and about a block per night. He is nowhere close to that right now with the Brooklyn Nets. He has seemingly lost all confidence. He has lost the want to improve his game. He has never had the drive to actually develop a jump shot because if he did, it would make him a great player. And the Hawks seemingly broke the mind of Ben Simmons permanently. And what's so concerning for Brooklyn, it doesn't even look as though he wants to play basketball. He'd rather just be linked up with the Kardashians, rocking some jewelry and a funky sweater, than being on an NBA floor. And that's pretty unfortunate given the level of player that he was, the potential that he still has, and him still being in his mid-20s. You look back at this Sixers trade with Brooklyn last year, James Harden, Paul Millsap, he was nothing. The Nets received Ben Simmons. Honestly, the Sixers miss Seth Curry the most. They missed Andre Drummond in the playoffs last year. He would have been a nice little backup center. Seth Curry could have bailed them out with them three-point shots. 2 first-round picks, yeah, it is what it is. And we'll see what the dividends are from James Harden. Last year it didn't work. This year he's hurt, couldn't work. But at least he's playing and Ben Simmons is not. At least James Harden tried to work on his body and get back into camp and start the regular season in better shape. Ben Simmons doesn't even look as though he wants to play basketball. The Sixers are lucky they were able to make this deal with the Brooklyn Nets. So to just say Ben Simmons stinks, we don't miss him anymore, wish him away. Type LOL in the chat because, my gosh, Ben Simmons, he has been bad for Brooklyn so far. Sixers' upcoming schedule. Some big games here on this list, most notably Milwaukee Bucks, Minnesota Timberwolves. Hopefully we get to see Joel Embiid against Cat and Rudy Gobert. Brooklyn, maybe they see Ben Simmons at Charlotte, at Orlando. Opportunity for Philadelphia to really start to string some wins together, and it looks as though they're playing better basketball. Joel Embiid had that historic nearly 60-burger the other night. He's playing better. It looks as though he's getting healthy. They're surviving without James Harden, and now got to string those wins together to improve your seeding in the Eastern Conference. If you made it this far, show us by typing Real One because we appreciate all of you for supporting. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time right here on Philadelphia 76ers Now.